right, guys, we are now joined by Cavaliers sharpshooter Sam Merrill. Sam, thanks for taking some time to join us today, man. First and foremost, Sam, coming out of college, you were not necessarily known as a sniper. And now you fast forward to today, and you are second in the NBA in three-point volume and efficiency, shooting 46.1% from the floor. When did you notice a change in your game that you believed you could become this kind of player at the NBA level?
Yeah, I've always been a really good shooter, obviously, and shot it great in college. But like you're saying, that wasn't really my role in college. And you know, my rookie year in Milwaukee, kind of tried to play the same way. Played a little point guard. You know, did some movement stuff, but nothing crazy. And then after my injury and heading to the G League, I think was when I really felt like I had the opportunity to just be that type of guy, the one that, you know, comes off screens, movement shots, gets them up in volume, like you said. And that was a really good experience for me, developing that and trying to turn into that type of player.
Is it a confidence thing to know that even if you miss a few, you have to be able to keep firing them up, and how you do that and how you play impacts the rest of the guys on the court?
For sure, definitely. I think you see a lot of guys who are probably capable of it, of shooting a bunch of threes, but whether it's protecting percentages or like you said, a confidence thing, not a lot of guys are quite as willing to do that. So it's definitely something I had to learn.
Was it a coach or a teammate who kind of gave you the confidence to let it fly at the rate you are right now?
Probably a little of both. Again, I've always been a good shooter, but you know, playing with the Charge here and Mike G and DJ Ham and the team that we had, like, they knew that's what I was, you know, really capable of, and had a few good games early, which opened things up for me.
Do you notice teams defending you differently now, especially this season where you've been as accurate from beyond the arc as anyone in the league?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do. Like, you can't face guard a guy like me. I mean, I'm in the third, fourth, fifth, you know, guy out there at times. So I'm not. It's like that's the luxury that I have, is playing with the amount of talent that we have, and Don and James and Evan and whatnot. I do feel like, you know, it used to be just automatic I'd get the worst defender, and that's not always the case this year, which is good. It's fun, and obviously the league is just continues to get more and more physical off the ball, which is great, but definitely makes it a little different.
Kenny mentioned in the last time we spoke to him that you're starting to get downhill more. Guys are chasing you over screens, and you're kind of turning the corner, playing in the paint a little more, something we hadn't necessarily seen before this season from you, Sam. I know that was part of your game back in the day, and I saw you working on it just before we walked in. How confident you are in that particular part of your game?
Yeah, talking to the guys before, you know, you'd hope that all NBA players are working on things that you may not see in games, and having had experience playing, you know, with the ball in my hand and getting into the paint and whatnot in college, that's really something I wanted to get back going into this year. So spent a ton of time in the summer, spent a ton of time when I was hurt and couldn't shoot, you know, working on floaters and finishes and reads and all that stuff. And I think I still honestly think there's more, but it's hard to, like, sometimes you just got to put yourself out there, and, you know, I'm not getting 10 ball screens a game, so you have to make do with what you have, but I've definitely made some progress in that area.
I'm going to show you a little video montage here, Sam, and I want you to kind of walk me through what you see on this, because I have a question coming off, and you can take the iPad, you could. But these are all plays of you getting to the cup and finishing. And Sam, I don't know if you know this, you're 25 of 31 within 4 feet of the rim this year. That's the highest percentage on the Cavs. So maybe you bring that stat to Kenny, maybe you bring that stat to Don, to Jarrett, but as you continue to develop that part of your game, how much do you think it'll open up the other stuff that we already know you do so exceptionally well?
Yeah, again, like, a lot of these are cuts, which I feel like I've gotten much better at as a player. You talk about that percentage. When you're watching these, a lot of these are pretty open. I would say that contributes.
Hey, give yourself credit, Sam. Come on. 25 at 31 is in the 96% time.
That contributes to the percentage there, probably. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like I've gotten a lot better as a cutter, and kind of learned, like, okay, what kind of finish is going to work at this level and what's not. You see on a few of these really trying to get the ball high off the glass. I feel like that's something I've been able to get to a little bit. And then like there, it's just like, just being aggressive. Like I know I'm capable of getting to my right hand and occasionally getting by someone. Like let's go do it.
I was asked to make sure I ask you this. Someone in here told me they would never speak to me again if I didn't ask. But can you dunk? Will we see one of these turn into a dunk, Sam?
I can dunk. There's footage out there.
Okay.
I actually had, so I can dunk on a good day. I had 0 dunks in all of college, 4 years, 0 dunks.
Okay.
Probably attempted 1 or 2. I had 2 dunks my rookie year. You go look that up on YouTube. You can see those. It's tough for me. I got ankle surgery 4 years ago and it's still like sore. So it's tough for me to jump off one leg, which is how I normally would dunk. But if I had my phone, I could literally show you guys clips of me dunking during workouts this year. So I'd love to get it back. But again, it's I'm not acting like I'm Donovan Mitchell, but I can do it on a good day.
Speaking of Don, and obviously James Harden's in the fold now, as a role guy alongside those guys who creates the gravity and space that you do, how much different do you have to change your game depending on who's the primary playmaker on the court, whether it's the James shifts or the Donovan shifts?
Yeah, I think they're a little different. James is a little slower paced, more, kind of just space and, let him do his thing and then be ready for, he'll throw a pass at any time, which is great. And, Donovan, been playing with him now for, almost 4 years, so kind of know what he's getting to and how I can make his life easier. So it's a process with James, but he's one of the best players ever. Like he'll figure it out, and we just gotta find a way to try to make his life as easy as possible.
With Jayson Tatum coming back, how do you guys look at the Eastern Conference? I mean, I know you guys had championship aspirations entering the season. Still think, I believe you guys believe you can win a championship still, but with a great player like that coming back, does that change how you look at the rest of the East and your guys' path to potentially representing the conference in the finals?
Yeah, I mean, whether he was playing or not, it's, you got to win 3 rounds, and I think the odds of us playing them in the first round are very low. So it's like, okay, great. Well, let's get there first. But cool to see him back. Obviously, in such a quick timeline, like the work that he's obviously put in is really cool. And listen, there are some really good teams. I mean, New York's really good. Boston's obviously very good. Detroit, is one of the best teams in the league this year. So we feel really confident about who we are as a team and the progress that we've made. I think, as frustrating as the struggles were early, I think it's been good for us to have to fight through that and show some real grit and resiliency. And, now with the addition, James, Dennis, and Keon, and, hopefully Max here soon, should only make us better.
Entering the season, there was a lot of question about this team's toughness and whether you guys were quote-unquote tough enough to win it all. With the additions of James and Keon and Dennis and Jalen's emergence and Naquan and Thomas Bryant, your emergence, do you guys feel like at this point you guys have answered that toughness question yet? Or is there still something you guys feel like you have to prove?
I mean, to be honest, I personally don't care, like what the questions around us are. Like at the end of the day, you shouldn't care about the narrative around you. Like at the end of the day, my job is to do the best that I can to try and win or lose. Like, if we win, it's great. If we lose, I don't care what the reasoning behind it is, right? Aside from learning and growing and whatnot. So, listen, I think we got a ton of tough dudes in this group. We haven't made it as far as we'd like to this point, but I just think we keep getting better and better. And like I said, we got a lot of tough dudes that have had to go through it. Like you look at some of the paths that guys have had to take, and things guys have had to fight through to get to this point. So I feel like toughness is not going to be the reason we don't win it all if we don't.
Two silly ones to end it. Does your street cred and your toughness, has it gone up in the locker room after you told the Nicaragua story? And for anyone who hasn't heard, Sam got basically mugged in Nicaragua. back in the day.
On my church mission, and I wish I could tell, that. I wish I could tell the guys about the whole experience, like 2 years serving a church mission with a very strict schedule. I really learned how to be tough down there. Not just from that experience. That was a one-off, ran away, whatever. We were safe within 5 seconds. But, I had to really learn how to work down there, and, it's every day. It's 90 degrees and super humid down there. You're sweating, walking everywhere. There's no air conditioning where we're living, no warm showers. You're trying to invite people to learn your message, so you deal with a lot of rejection and whatnot, and that's really hard. So that whole experience,
that doesn't toughen you up. Nothing can. Yeah.
I'm super grateful for that experience.
And last but not least, Sam, and I want the camera to know, I was out on this as soon as they mentioned it on the broadcast. You know what's coming.
I do.
The egg beater. What the heck is that, and how can we erase that from every human being's memory?
Yeah.
Did you know that was coming?
No, I'd never. Honestly, it took me a little bit to figure out what that even meant. And I guess Kenny said it in their pregame. And I'm not even gonna do the hand motion, but just getting things going and being that connector, I guess, is the reasoning behind it. I thought it was hilarious. I went up to Ryan Ruocco the next game and was like, "Hey, please don't ever call me the AP ever again." That was wild, man.
UCSS to Sam Merrill, egg beater, dead. He's Money Merrill, sharpshooter Sam. Sam, thank you so much for spending some time.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll see you guys after the break. Thanks again.